going to show you today is our 360 Sync application that we've created in-house. Essentially, all that it does is it connects a Windows folder to your BIM 360 field library. So you can think of it like, basically you drop you drop files or folders into like a folder that's on your server or on your desktop, and you can have it automatically sync or sync whenever you want it to sync with that file. So if you have something like a large ASI that comes out and you have to update all of your plans, or maybe a new RFI comes out, or any of your documents change, models included, you can just put them in that folder, and then our 360 Sync application will, at a designated time or at a, whenever you manually wanted to do it, it would update everything for you. So it would eliminate basically the double entry that you guys would have with BIM 360, with SharePoint, like with all that stuff, I guess, essentially. So that's all that I'm going to show you today, okay? So what you see open right now is the 360 Sync application. It's just a really simple, I guess, module. But first thing you do is you start off and you just sign in using your BIM 360 field username and password. One thing to note is that you're going to need to have project admin status, as well as photo viewers and document editing capabilities. So those are like 3 capabilities that you can give a user, like when you're an admin for BIM 360. So you just need to make sure that those are all checked, because that will allow you to download or upload photos, PDFs, documents, models, etc., etc. Okay. So once you get that done, you just hit save. And so it'll tell you that it's it'll test. It'll say that it's a success. So then you save it. Okay. So all that I'm going to show you now is basically just how to create a new, I guess, configuration. So what I want to do is I want to take this folder right here, and it has some models in it. It has some PDFs for O&M data, and then it has some of my plans and also some nested folders in it. Okay. So you can see, we've got all that stuff. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to bring it over here into my BIM 360 field project. So you can see right now I don't have a folder in there called Hangout. So all I'm going to do is just create a new configuration. And we'll name it, and since we're taking it to the sample project, we're just going to call it sample. And then as it loads, basically there's going to be a couple of things that we're going to do. We're going to choose the direction that the data is going to flow. So you could choose either from Windows to BIM 360 field, or you could choose from BIM 360 field to Windows. So right now what I'm going to choose is Windows to field, because we want to push things from Windows in the BIM 360 field. And again, I'll name this just sample. But you could do field to Windows. So let's say you guys had a workflow where maybe every Tuesday you guys did a site walk and you documented using, you documented photos of the site that day. Well, you could, pull all those photos that you took using BIM 360 field, and you could pull them back down to your server so that you could basically have a documented, photo library of what the site looked like that day. But for this purpose, we're pushing everything up. So all that I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick my folder that's on my desktop, and it's the Hangout folder. So let's see. So there we go. There's our Hangout folder. Then I'm going to select the project. It's the sample project, and then I'm just going to put it into the root folder, and I'm going to make a new folder. So we're going to call this 360 sync. Okay, so I want all of my documents to go into there. You could have named it whatever you wanted to, but I'm just naming it that. So I've got it okay. So I've got my my configuration set up. So I'm just going to hit OK. So another thing, I could add another configuration here. So maybe there were multiple folders that you wanted to call from. You could do that. Or if you wanted, again, to push the images back down from field, you could do that here as well. But I'm just going to do it one time. Just going to hit save. And then I'll close. And so now all that I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on my sample.ini and I'm going to create a launch shortcut. So that basically that just creates a just a little like a little image right here. So I'll click on it. And so when I do that, it starts up, shows that it's working. So you can see right now it's uploading all of the files. So that's pretty much it. We'll take a look at this. We'll let this keep going. But let's say that you wanted to run this on a schedule. So we've got that actually built in. So you come down here on this bottom little panel, I guess, of our little app, and you select the configuration that you want, and then you hit Run on a Schedule. But you can choose what day of the week. You could choose every day if you wanted. And then you could even choose, like, let's say you wanted it to run every 2 hours, you could do that. So this would really come in handy if you set up 360 Sync on your server, because basically what you could do is you could just download this onto your server, run, and then create the configuration and then run the task scheduler, and essentially, you could say 7 o'clock every day, I want this to run and I want it to update BIM 360 field. So every day it's going to go in there, and the first time that it runs, just like what it's doing right now, it's going to update everything that's in those folders. But the second time that it runs, it's only going to search for the things that have changed. It's going to search for and update the things that have changed. So essentially every day, or if you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend doing it sooner than 2 hours apart, because it could take longer to, we've seen in some cases that sometimes it takes a while to sync everything depending on how big the sync is. But basically you could, every 2 hours you could have this update if you really wanted to, every day. So basically that's it. So I'll show you now. Let's just refresh our field. And so you're already going to see, okay, so we've got the folder in here. We come in here, we've got the models already up there, and the PDFs for the O&M data are up. So basically all this stuff is already up there and updated. So that's pretty much it right there. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, can you just answer one question about, as far as when it backs up, or like when you set your your time period of when you want it to sync? So
yeah.
where exactly? And I might have just missed the part when you said it, but where exactly does that back up, or where does that go?
Yeah. So here's what I did. All I did was I just took all of my data that was in this folder that was on my desktop.
Right.
And then I put, and then I'm pushing that to the field.
To the field. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, to my field library.
Okay. Now, when we spoke the other day, I was trying to explain that one of our biggest problem is large data transfers.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, we are challenged with updating files as far as CAD files and PDF drawings that we want, and we want to share. So what happens when we make an edit to a file, but we want the old versions to show? That way we can show the sequence through which they were those points were added.
Yeah,
that
so it works the exact same way as BIM 360. Like, so you could go back and these are brand new files that I uploaded, but you can, just like you can, before, you can view the old versions
Okay.
in
Perfect.
field. And same thing with let's say that you guys put pinpoints on items or you marked them up, all that stuff. Think of it, it's just basically like a layer. Actually, it's not actually editing the file. So if if you guys marked it up, or if you had pinpoints on it, or if they were attached to locations, then if you updated that file and the file name was the same, then all that data would still be there. It's not changing any of the BIM 360 field data that's over the top of it. It's just changing basically the I guess, for lack of the picture of the PDF, I guess, for lack of a better term. If I sent you over just like the
they're anywhere from 35 meg to 144 meg. So how
we had last week one of our clients, I think it was Clancy and Nays, they had like a 4 gigabyte upload. It took about an hour to an hour and a half to do, and so again, that's why I was saying you don't want to have it go more than 2 hours, because sometimes it takes about 2 hours for everything to go up there and then process. But yeah, I mean, we 4 gigs, and we pushed all that up there, and there was not a problem. They did have an issue where basically they had it buried on the server, and so the file name was like, I think like 600 characters long, like the whole the breadcrumbs of the file. But we actually have all we just had to do was just tell them we had something built in that would solve that problem, and it solved it. And, so we have not had, I've not seen anything where the files were too large. That hasn't affected it at all.